So a reflex arc is when a nerve pathway is followed by a reflex action, and a reflex action is an automatic, involuntary, rapid response to a stimuli. This happens to prevent any potential damage. So this is basically our body's response to danger and, well, to stimuli. This happens because the receptors around our body, they detect stimuli, and when they detect them, they are transmitted to the sensory neurons, which sends electrical impulses to the relay neurons. These neurons are located in our spinal cord. So when these impulses reach the spinal cord, they are inverted into signals to motor neurons. And the motor neurons themselves send electrical impulses to the effector. And this produces a response. This is all very fast because this process doesn't get involved with the voluntary part of our brain. So this happens without us even thinking about it. That's why it's so fast, because it's literally a response to a stimuli. So I will show you 3 different arc reflexes that you can test, and these are I read even sometimes used in neurological revisions to check your reflexes. This reflex is supposedly caused when you hit a tendon that is right below your knee. So you have to test this a couple of times to get like an actual response so you can find the tendon. So you have to hit, I'm using a spoon because I don't have like the things you need, but it still works. So here's your knee, it's probably like here. It's a little bit difficult to tell, but when you're in person, you can tell that your leg moves a bit, and this is caused because we have something called stretch receptors in our legs. And these stretch receptors are stimulated when your muscle changes in length. So when you hit the tendon, you're like actually changing the length of that muscle. So, of that tendon, and the receptors on your legs, they send a message to the muscles on your thighs, and then these muscles you have in your thighs, they contract, and when they contract, they cause your leg to move up, and this movement you made is like a kick, but it's completely involuntary. So as you were able to see by the video, this reflex is called pupillary light reflex. So this happens because the pupillary area has a pathway that has 2 afferent limbs, one on each side, and the fibers that run within the optic nerve and also the oculomotor nerve, they carry sensory input, and like I mentioned in the past one, sensory input is channeled to the motor neurons, and these motor neurons to the efferent, and then they produce a response. So in this case, the response would be that our pupils, sometimes they decrease in their size, or also that our eyes close. And this helps us so that the light won't damage our eyes any longer. So this reflex is called the Achilles reflex. This reflex is more or less very similar or the same to the knee-jerk reflex. So what happens is that this tendon, which is the one that unites your foot with the rest of your leg, it has a stretch receptor. So this stretch receptor, it is stimulated when you hit the Achilles tendon. So it changes in length and it causes your calf muscles to contract. And when these contract, they cause a really little, a really small movement in your foot. So that's why I also was holding the foot so you could tell a little bit better.